My brother kicked me out of my own sister's wedding like I was a stranger who crashed the party. No warning, no quiet conversation. He did it in front of family, cameras, and the groom's friends. I thought I would just leave, swallow it, and let my sister have her perfect day. But then the groom walked outside, looked me in the eye, and did something nobody expected. What he did next did not just stop the bullying, it detonated the entire wedding in the most controlled, satisfying way. It went viral and it forced my family to choose sides. Where are you watching from? Comment your city and state. Let us start. My name is Ethan. I was never the loud one. In my family, loud meant loved. Loud meant confident. Loud meant leadership. Quiet meant suspicious, awkward. Why are you like that? My brother Ryan was loud in every room. He could take a joke too far, and people would laugh because he said it with a grin. He could insult you and call it honesty. He was the type who shook hands too hard and looked people straight through, like he was measuring them. He was 3 years older than me, but in our house he was treated like he was 30 years older, like he had authority by default. My sister Lena was the bridge between us. She could make Ryan soften and she could make me speak. If Lena asked, I showed up. That is why I drove to Charleston for her wedding. I told myself one simple rule: do not react. Do not get pulled into family drama. Just be present. Just be supportive. I wanted to prove something to myself. I wanted to prove I could stand in that pretty, expensive room with chandeliers and champagne towers and not feel like I had to apologize for existing. The venue was a historic-looking estate outside the city, white columns, oak trees draped with Spanish moss, everything curated to look effortless. The kind of place where people post photos and pretend their life is always like that. I arrived early in a plain black suit because I did not want attention. I carried a small gift bag and a handwritten card for Lena. I thought that part would matter. It did not. Not yet. Ryan was outside with groomsmen and a few cousins, already drinking like it was a sport. He saw me, and his face did that small, tight thing it always did when I walked into his space. He did not say hello. He said, "Do not be weird today." That was his version of a greeting. I kept my voice calm. "I am here for Lena." He stepped closer, breath smelling like mint gum and alcohol. "Exactly. So do not make it about you." My stomach tightened, but I swallowed it. I walked inside. The ceremony was beautiful. Lena looked happy in a way I had not seen in years. She was not performing. She was not trying to please our parents. She looked genuinely safe. Caleb, the groom, stood at the front with steady hands and warm eyes. Caleb was not flashy. He did not talk over people. When he spoke, people listened because it felt real, not because he demanded it. When Lena reached him, he whispered something that made her laugh, and I remember thinking, good. She is marrying someone who brings her down to earth instead of pushing her into a spotlight. During the vows, I looked at Ryan. He smiled for cameras, but his eyes kept scanning the crowd like he was checking for problems. He liked control more than celebration. After the ceremony, we moved into the reception space. Music, lights, food, people hugging. I found a table near the side. I did not hide. I just did not chase the center. I talked to a couple cousins. I complimented an aunt's dress. I stayed friendly. I stayed calm. And for a while it worked. Then the speeches started. Ryan stood up without being asked. He always did that. He grabbed the microphone like he owned it. He told funny stories about Lena, most of them private. The room laughed. Lena laughed too, but her smile looked strained. Caleb's jaw tightened just a little, then relaxed, like he was choosing peace for her. Ryan ended with a toast that sounded supportive, but had that sharp edge underneath. "To Lena," he said, "who finally found someone who can handle her." People cheered. I did not. I sipped water and kept my face neutral. Ryan noticed. He always noticed when I did not play along. After the speeches, the dance floor opened. I stayed seated because I do not dance well, and I did not want the whole "come on, loosen up" routine. I was fine watching Lena dance with Caleb, watching her laugh with her friends. I was fine being the quiet brother in the corner who still showed up. That should have been enough. It was not enough for Ryan. He came to my table holding a drink, face flushed, voice already sharpened by alcohol and entitlement. "Why are you sitting like that?" he asked. "Like what?" I said. "Like you are judging everyone," he said. I kept my tone even. "I am not judging anyone. I am just sitting." He leaned in, close enough that a couple people at the table looked uncomfortable. "Smile," he said. "You look miserable." I took a slow breath. "I am happy for Lena." He laughed, like that was the dumbest thing he had ever heard. "No, you are not," he said. "You love acting like the outsider. You love making people uncomfortable." My hands stayed on the table. I did not clench them. I did not raise my voice. I said, "Ryan, not today." That sentence flipped him. Because when you tell a controlling person, "not today," you are not just setting a boundary. You are challenging their power. Ryan straightened up and raised his voice just enough for nearby tables to hear. "Go outside," he said. I blinked. "What?" He pointed toward the exit. "Go outside. Get yourself together. Do not sit here with that face on my sister's wedding day." My pulse spiked. I looked around for Lena. She was across the room with Caleb and friends, laughing, unaware. I did not want her dragged into this. Ryan stepped closer, voice lower again, more dangerous because it was controlled. "You are not going to ruin this," he said. "Either you walk outside or I have staff remove you." I felt the humiliation like heat on my skin. Not because I believed him, but because I knew people would accept his version automatically. That is what our family had trained them to do. I stood up slowly. I said one word. "Fine." Ryan's face showed satisfaction, like he had proven a point. I walked out. The doors closed behind me. Music thumped through the walls. Laughter floated out like I was listening from a different life. I stood under a side light near the building, holding my jacket and trying to keep my breathing steady. I told myself, this is temporary. Stay calm. Do not ruin Lena's night. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Lena. "Where are you? I have not seen you." My throat tightened. I did not want to lie. I also did not want to drop a grenade into her wedding. I typed, "I stepped out for air. I am okay." Before I could send it, the side door opened. Caleb stepped outside. He looked around, then locked eyes with me. He did not look confused. He looked focused, like he had already decided something. "Ethan," he said. I forced a small, polite smile. "Hey, I am fine. Just needed air." Caleb did not accept it. He said, "I saw Ryan talking to you, then I saw you leave." I felt my face burn. "It is not a big deal," I said. Caleb took one step closer, not threatening, just firm. "Tell me what happened," he said. Something in his voice made it easy to tell the truth. No pressure, no judgment, just clarity. I said, "Ryan told me to go outside. He said I was making people uncomfortable." Caleb's eyes narrowed in a controlled way. He nodded once, like he was confirming a pattern. "Did he kick you out?" he asked. I hesitated, then nodded. Caleb was silent for a beat. Then he said, "Stay right here." He turned and walked back inside. My stomach dropped because I could feel what was coming. I did not know what it would look like, but I knew it would be big. Inside, the music lowered. Not fully off, but down. The kind of sound change that makes people look up. The doors opened again. Caleb came out, and Lena followed him. Ryan followed too, annoyed, already trying to control what was happening. Lena's face was still soft until she saw me. Then her eyebrows pulled together. "Ethan, what are you doing out here?" Ryan cut in fast. "He needed air," Ryan said. "He was being weird. I handled it." Lena stared at Ryan. "Handled what?" she asked. Caleb stepped slightly between them, not touching anyone, but placing a boundary with his body. He said, calm and clear, "Ryan told Ethan to leave the reception." Lena's eyes widened. You did what? She asked Ryan. Ryan scoffed. He was sulking, Ryan said. He was killing the vibe. Lena looked at me. Were you sulking? She asked. I shook my head. I was just sitting, I said. Caleb's voice stayed even, but the power in it grew. This is your wedding, Caleb said to Lena. Nobody gets to decide who belongs here except you. Ryan's face tightened. This is family stuff, Ryan snapped. Caleb looked at him. No, he said. This is my wedding too, and bullying is not welcome. Ryan laughed once, sharp. Bullying? Come on, he always plays victim. Caleb did not argue. He did not trade insults, he did something smarter. He said, We do not have to debate it, it is on video. Ryan froze. Lena's mouth opened slightly. What video? She whispered. Caleb lifted a phone. The photographer caught it, Caleb said. Not on purpose, it just happened. Ryan took a step forward. Do not do this, he hissed. Caleb's voice did not change. I am doing it, he said, because I refuse to start my marriage by teaching Lena that her brother can be treated like garbage to keep the mood light. Lena's eyes filled with tears, not weak tears, angry ones. She turned to Ryan. You embarrassed him, she said. On my wedding day. Ryan tried to pivot. I was protecting you, he said. He makes everything awkward. Caleb turned toward the door and said, Come inside. He looked at me. Ethan, walk with us. My legs felt heavy, but I followed. We walked back into the reception together, and when people saw Lena beside Caleb, their faces changed because they could tell something serious was happening. Caleb moved to the center near the DJ booth and asked for the microphone. The band stopped. The room went quiet. Caleb held the mic like it was a tool, not a trophy. He said, I need everyone's attention for 1 minute. People leaned in. Ryan stood near the edge, arms crossed, trying to look like he did not care. Caleb said, I did not plan a speech right now, but something happened outside that does not belong at any celebration. He paused. Someone in this room decided they could remove a guest because he was quiet, because he did not perform happiness the way they wanted. He looked around slowly. That guest is my wife's brother. The room shifted. You could feel it, like a wave. Caleb continued, I am not saying this to create drama. I am saying it because I refuse to normalize cruelty. He nodded to the DJ. Please play the clip, he said. The screen behind the DJ lit up. A short video played. Ryan leaning over my table. Ryan pointing toward the door. Ryan saying, Go outside. Do not come back until you can act normal. My voice, Fine. It ended. The silence that followed was heavy, not awkward silence, accountability silence. Lena stared at the screen, then at Ryan. Ryan's face turned pale, then red. He opened his mouth to speak. Caleb raised the mic and said one sentence that cut through everything. Before you explain, understand this. Explanations are not apologies. Ryan shut his mouth. Caleb turned to me, right there in front of everyone, and held out his hand. Ethan, he said, you are not leaving. You are staying. You belong here. You are family here. My chest tightened so hard it hurt. I stepped forward and took his hand. Caleb turned back to Ryan. Now you have a choice, Caleb said. You can apologize to Ethan and to Lena, right now, or you can leave. Ryan laughed, but it sounded shaky. You cannot tell me to leave, he said. Caleb's voice stayed calm. I can, he said. It is my wedding. Ryan looked around, expecting allies. Our parents looked stunned. A couple relatives stared at their plates. Nobody rushed to save him because the clip made it impossible to pretend. Ryan tried one more move. He said, loud enough for the room, He has always been like this. He always ruins things. Caleb responded instantly. No, he said. People do not ruin things by being quiet. People ruin things by being cruel. Then Caleb said the line that changed everything, the line people would later quote online. If you need someone smaller so you can feel bigger, you are the problem. The room exhaled like it had been holding that truth for years. Ryan's eyes flashed. He stepped forward like he might escalate. Two groomsmen moved closer, ready, not aggressive, just prepared. Caleb did not flinch. He simply said, "Apologize or leave." Ryan's pride fought his fear. He looked at Lena, expecting her to side with him. Lena's voice shook, but it was strong. "Ryan," she said, "you do not get to decide who my family is. Ethan is my brother. If you cannot respect him, you can go." That was the moment Ryan lost the room. He stared at Lena like she had betrayed him. Then he looked at me with pure resentment. "Happy now?" he said. I did not answer. Caleb answered for me. "No," Caleb said. "He is hurt, and you did that." Ryan's hand tightened around his drink. He threw one last glance around, realized no one was moving, and stormed toward the exit. As he walked out, a guest's phone camera followed him. Another guest started recording. People were not laughing now. They were documenting. Ryan slammed the door behind him. The room stayed silent for 2 seconds. Then Caleb turned to everyone and said, "We are going to continue celebrating, but we are going to do it with respect." He looked at me again. "Ethan, come sit at our table," he said. I froze. Head table, spotlight, the one place I never wanted. Caleb leaned in and said quietly, "You do not have to speak, you just have to be here." Lena took my hand. Her eyes were wet. "I am sorry," she whispered. "I did not know." I swallowed hard and nodded. "It is okay," I said. But it was not fully okay. Not yet, because I could feel it. Ryan was outside, furious, humiliated. And when a controlling person loses control in public, they do not calm down. They escalate. I sat at the head table, hearing whispers ripple across the room. People kept glancing toward the door. Phones were out. Not all, but enough. The DJ started music again, but it sounded different now. Not carefree. Charged. Lena leaned closer and said, "Are you okay?" I answered honestly, "I do not know," I said. Caleb looked at me and said, "You will be." Then the door opened. Everyone turned. Ryan walked back in. And he was not alone. He had our father with him. Dad looked tense, like he had been pulled into a fire he could not control. Ryan pointed at Caleb like he was accusing him of a crime. "You embarrassed me," Ryan said. Caleb stood up slowly, still calm. "You embarrassed yourself," Caleb replied. Dad raised a hand. "Let us not do this," he said, voice pleading. Ryan ignored him. He looked at Lena. "Tell him to apologize," Ryan demanded. Lena stood. Her voice was quiet but sharp. "No," she said. Ryan's eyes widened, like he could not process it. He turned to Dad. "Are you going to let this happen?" Dad looked at me, then looked away. That was the old pattern. Avoid, minimize, protect the image. Caleb watched Dad's reaction and then said into the microphone again, "Sir, with respect, your son just tried to remove your other son from this wedding. If you want to defend that, you can leave with him." The room went dead silent. Dad's face tightened. Ryan stared at Dad, waiting, and Dad hesitated. That hesitation was everything. Because it meant the clip did something even bigger than call out Ryan. It exposed the system that enabled him. Ryan's voice rose. "This is insane," he said. "You people are turning on me." Caleb's response was simple. "We are not turning on you," he said. "We are turning toward the truth." Ryan's breathing looked heavy. He slammed his drink on a table, glass rattling. Lena flinched. Caleb noticed. Caleb's posture changed. His calm became steel. He said, "Ryan, you are done. Leave now." Ryan took one step toward the head table, toward Lena. Two groomsmen stepped in front of him instantly. Ryan stopped. Caleb did not raise his voice. He said, "Do not take another step." Dad finally spoke, but not with leadership, with fear. "Ryan, stop," he said. Ryan looked around and realized he was outnumbered, not by fists, by reality. He pointed at me. "He did this," he said. Caleb answered, "No, the camera did this, and your words did this." Ryan's face twisted with rage. He turned and stormed out again. Dad followed him, torn. The door shut. Everyone remained silent. Then Lena started shaking, not from weakness, but from adrenaline. Caleb put an arm around her shoulders and said, "Look at me." She looked. Caleb said, "You are safe." Lena nodded, breathing hard. The room waited. People wanted permission to breathe again. Caleb raised the microphone one last time. Listen, he said. This wedding is about Lena and me, and we choose love. We choose respect. If anyone cannot handle that, they can leave. Otherwise, we dance. The band started up again, louder, brighter. People clapped, not polite claps, relieved claps. Lena squeezed my hand under the table, just like when we were kids. And for the first time all night, I felt something shift in my chest. Not victory, not revenge, relief. But outside, phones were already uploading the clip. Someone had recorded the screen. Someone had recorded Caleb's line about truth. Someone had recorded Ryan storming out. And within minutes, the video was spreading. I did not know that yet. I just knew the air in the room had changed, the power had changed, and it was not going back. The first time I realized it was going viral, it was not because someone told me. It was because my phone would not stop vibrating. Message after message, notifications stacking so fast I could not read them. I was sitting at the head table trying to act normal, trying to focus on Lena smiling again, when my cousin Maya leaned in and whispered, Ethan, people are posting it, like right now. I blinked. Posting what? Maya tilted her phone toward me. A short clip, shaky but clear, Ryan pointing at the exit, Ryan saying, act normal, then Caleb's voice, if you need someone smaller so you can feel bigger, you are the problem. The caption read, Groom defends bride's brother at wedding. Brother gets exposed. The likes were climbing in real time. My stomach dropped, not because I was ashamed, because I knew what virality did. It did not just tell the truth, it amplified consequences. Lena leaned over, seeing my face. What is it? She asked. I hesitated, then showed her. Lena's eyes widened. Her hand flew to her mouth. Oh my God, she whispered. Caleb looked at her phone, then looked at me. It is out, he said quietly. He did not sound surprised. He sounded prepared. What does that mean? I asked. Caleb said, it means we do not get to control the narrative anymore. We just get to live the truth. That line hit me, because my entire upbringing was about controlling the narrative. Smile for the photo. Do not talk about the argument. Keep it inside. Pretend everything is fine. Suddenly, none of that mattered. The internet was watching, and for once, the internet was not on the side of the bully. Ryan came back one more time. This time, he did not try to be charming. He tried to be dangerous. He stood at the edge of the dance floor, staring at us like he wanted to burn the room down with his eyes. Dad stood next to him, voice low, trying to calm him. Mom, our mom, was nowhere near him. She had moved to the women's restroom area earlier, crying, embarrassed, overwhelmed. She had not defended me outside either, but she also was not defending Ryan now. She was disappearing, like she always did when conflict forced her to pick a side. Ryan spotted me looking. He walked toward me again. Dad grabbed his arm. Ryan yanked away. Caleb saw it. Caleb lifted 2 fingers, a small signal I did not understand. 2 groomsmen moved, one toward Ryan's path, one toward the door. Not dramatic. Quiet control. Caleb leaned to Lena and said something. Lena nodded and stepped behind him slightly. That was when I realized Caleb had been handling high-pressure situations his whole life. He was not playing wedding hero. He was protecting his wife. Ryan stopped 3 feet from our table because the groomsman was now between us. Ryan pointed at me. Look what you did, he said. I kept my voice low. I did not do anything, I said. Ryan scoffed. You always do this, he said. You sit there and act innocent. You make everyone feel guilty. Caleb stood up again. Ryan, he said, you are not speaking to Ethan like that. Ryan turned his anger on Caleb. Who are you to talk to me? He snapped. Caleb answered, I am the man Lena chose, and today I choose what happens around her. Ryan's face tightened. You are making a mistake, he said. Caleb replied, the mistake would be letting you think you can intimidate people and still be welcomed. Ryan looked at Lena. Tell him, he demanded. Lena's voice was firm, quieter than his, but stronger because it did not shake. Ryan, stop, she said. You hurt Ethan. You hurt me. You need to leave. Ryan stared like he could not recognize his sister. Then he did something that guaranteed it would never go back to normal. He raised his voice and said, "You are choosing him over me?" Lena did not flinch. "I am choosing what is right," she said. In that moment, half the room stopped dancing. Phones came out again. The scene was too intense to ignore. Caleb stepped closer to Ryan, not aggressive, but close enough that Ryan had to look him in the eyes. Caleb said, "You are done. Leave now. If you do not, I will have security remove you." Ryan laughed. "Security?" he said. "This is my family." Caleb replied, "This is my marriage." Ryan's eyes went wide, then narrow. He looked around, saw people watching, saw cameras. Then he tried a final pivot. Victim mode. He raised his hands and said loudly, "So now I am the bad guy because I asked him to smile? Are we serious?" A few people shifted uncomfortably. It was a familiar trick. Make it sound small. Make the response look dramatic. Caleb did not bite. Caleb said, "You did not ask him to smile. You tried to exile him." Then Caleb did the one thing that locked the entire room onto his side. He addressed everyone, calm and measured, like a judge. "Everybody here just watched how quickly Ryan rewrites reality," Caleb said. "If you are ever wondering why Ethan stays quiet, this is why. When you speak, he twists it. When you defend yourself, he escalates. When you stay calm, he calls it sulking." The room went still again. Because it was true. I felt my throat tighten. Caleb kept going. "Ethan does not owe anyone performance," he said. "He owes basic respect to the couple getting married." He gave that. Ryan did not. Then Caleb turned to Ryan and said, "You can apologize or you can go. There is no third option." Ryan's face went hard. He leaned close to the groomsman and said something under his breath. The groomsman did not move. Ryan realized intimidation was not working. He spun around and stormed out. Dad followed again. This time, Dad looked less like a leader and more like a man chasing a fire he started. The door shut. The band started again, but slower, like they were reading the room. Lena looked like she might cry. Caleb put his forehead close to hers and said something private. Lena nodded, then looked at me. "Ethan," she said, voice soft, "I am sorry. I did not see it." I swallowed hard. "I did not want you to see it today," I said. Lena's eyes filled. "I needed to see it," she said. Then Caleb surprised me again. He walked to the DJ and asked for the microphone one more time. People groaned quietly, not because they were annoyed, but because they sensed another heavy moment. Caleb raised his hand. 30 seconds, he said. "Then we party." He looked straight at the room and said, "I want to say something clear. If you are a person who has ever been pushed out of a room for not being loud enough, not being fun enough, not being easy enough, I want you to hear me." He paused, letting silence do the work. "You are not the problem," he said. "Sometimes you are just the only honest person in a dishonest room." That line hit like thunder. It was clean. It was shareable. It was made for the internet without trying to be. I heard people whisper, "Wow." Someone sniffled. A few people clapped. Caleb turned to me and said, "Ethan, I want you to stand up." My stomach dropped. I did not want that, but he was not asking to embarrass me. He was asking to restore me. I stood. My knees felt weird. Caleb said, "This is Lena's brother, and tonight he got treated like he was disposable." He looked around. "He is not disposable." He turned to Lena. "Do you want your brother here?" Lena's answer was immediate. "Yes," she said. Her voice cracked. "I want him here." Caleb nodded, then looked at me again. "Then sit where you want," he said. "Dance or do not dance. Speak or do not speak, but do not shrink." My eyes burned. I nodded. That was all I could manage. Caleb clapped once and said, "Now we celebrate." The band started a high-energy song. People cheered, not because drama is fun, but because justice is satisfying. Lena pulled me onto the dance floor. I protested with a half laugh. She did not care. She said, "Just sway, that is all." So I swayed. And for the first time in years, I did not feel like I was failing at being a person. I felt like I was participating on my own terms. Then the next wave hit, the online explosion. During dinner, strangers started messaging me. Some supportive, some nosy, a couple cruel. That is the internet. But the overwhelming majority were on the same theme. That groom is a real man. Your sister is brave. Your brother is toxic. Then came the part that made everything bigger. Someone posted the clip on a major short video page and it crossed hundreds of thousands of views in hours, then a million, then more. It got stitched, remixed, discussed. People argued about family loyalty, bullying, weddings, boundaries. Caleb's line about truth got quoted like it was a movie. By midnight, the video had escaped our circles and entered the algorithm. The next morning, my father called me, not to apologize, not at first, to control damage. Ethan, you need to tell people to stop sharing it, Dad said, voice tense. I sat on my hotel bed, staring at the wall. I cannot control what people share, I said. Dad snapped, you can post something. You can say it was a misunderstanding. I felt something in me go cold. It was not a misunderstanding, I said. Dad exhaled hard. Ryan is getting attacked online, he said. His job might see it. I stayed quiet. Dad continued, this is tearing the family apart. I finally said it. Ryan tore it apart when he treated me like trash, I said. Dad's voice lowered. You could have handled it privately, he said. I laughed once, no humor. Privately is where it lived for years, I said. Privately is where it kept happening. Dad paused. Then he said the thing that made my chest tighten. He is your brother, he said. I answered, and I am your son. Silence. Long silence. Then Dad said, quieter, your mother is crying. I said, so was I. For years, nobody cared. That was the first time I had ever spoken to my father like that. Not disrespectful, just truthful. Dad did not know what to do with truth. We ended the call with no resolution. Then Lena called. Her voice was exhausted. Ethan, she said, I just saw comments. People are calling Ryan names. People are digging into his life. I could hear fear, not fear of Ryan, fear of chaos. I said, Lena, do you regret it? She went quiet. Then she said, no. That one word was everything. She continued, I regret that it took my wedding for me to see it. I said, you saw it now. That matters. Lena sniffled. Caleb is getting messages too, she said. People want interviews. Do not do interviews, I said immediately. Protect your peace. She said, Caleb said the same thing. I paused. Caleb is smart, I said. Lena laughed softly. He is, she said. And Ethan? Yeah? Thank you for not exploding back, she said. If you had, Ryan would have made you the villain. I swallowed. I know, I said. That is why I left. Lena's voice sharpened. You should not have had to leave, she said. Caleb says that is the point. Later that day, Caleb asked to meet me alone, just us, at a quiet coffee shop. It was early, before the online noise could drag everyone into more drama. He sat across from me with a plain black coffee and said, I need to ask you something. I said, okay. He asked, has Ryan been doing this your whole life? I stared at the table for a second, then I nodded. Caleb exhaled slowly. I thought so, he said. I asked, how? Caleb said, because the way he talked to you was practiced, not emotional, strategic. That word, strategic, made my skin prickle. Caleb leaned forward. I did not defend you for views, he said. I defended you because if I let that slide, I would be building my marriage on the same silence that hurt you. That sentence landed deep. I said, you did not have to do that. Caleb shook his head. I did, he said, because Lena chose me, and Lena loves you. So if I cannot protect what she loves, what kind of husband am I? I could not answer that. My throat tightened. Caleb continued, also, I saw you. You did not shout. You did not beg. You did not plead. You left so Lena could keep her joy. That is love. That is strength. I looked away. Caleb then said, now we set boundaries. He pulled out his phone and showed me a message thread. It was from Ryan, sent to Caleb late night. Ryan had tried to intimidate him, not with threats, but with manipulation. You ruined my reputation. You made my sister turn against me. You are going to regret this. Caleb said, This is not over. Ryan will try to punish Lena for this. My stomach dropped. What do we do? I asked. Caleb said, We protect her. We document everything. And we stop letting your family pretend this is normal. Over the next week, that is exactly what happened. Ryan tried to contact Lena repeatedly. He sent apologetic messages, then angry ones, then guilt trips. Lena saved everyone. Ryan tried to contact me. I did not respond. Ryan showed up at our parents' house twice. Lena was staying there temporarily before her honeymoon plans got canceled. Caleb insisted on canceling the trip. He said, We can take a vacation anytime. We cannot rebuild safety if we leave in the middle of this. When Ryan showed up, Dad tried to talk him down. Ryan raised his voice. Neighbors heard. Someone recorded from a window. That second clip added fuel. It did not matter what Ryan said. The pattern was now visible. Control, anger, blame. People recognized it because they had lived it. That is why it went viral. Not because it was a wedding scandal, because it was a story people knew in their bones. Then came the twist nobody expected. Dad finally snapped at Ryan. Not at me, not at Lena, at Ryan. Dad said, loud enough for everyone to hear, You embarrassed yourself, and you are not doing this to your sister again. Ryan stared at him like Dad had slapped him. You are taking their side, Ryan said. Dad replied, I am taking the right side. That moment did not go viral the same way because it was not as clean and cinematic. But it mattered more because it meant the family system was cracking. A week later, Ryan posted a long statement online. He tried to sound calm. He said he regretted how things looked. He said he was protecting the wedding energy. He said the clip was out of context. The comments destroyed him, not with cruelty, but with logic. People said, Context does not change your words. You pointed him out like trash. You are not the victim. Ryan deleted it. Then he went silent. For the first time in my life, Ryan went silent. And in that silence, something new happened. My mom called me and said, I am sorry. She had never said that clearly. She cried and said, I watched him treat you like that, and I did nothing. I thought staying quiet kept peace. I said, It did not keep peace. It kept pain. She whispered, I see that now. Dad called later and said, I handled you wrong your whole life. It was not a perfect apology, but it was real enough to make my chest feel heavy. And Lena? Lena changed. She started therapy. She stopped making excuses for Ryan. She stopped smoothing everything. She told relatives, If you blame Ethan for this, you do not come near my home. Caleb backed her every time. And me? I did not become loud. I did not become a different person. I just stopped shrinking. Weeks later, the video was still circulating. People would tag Caleb and call him the standard. Some called him a hero. Caleb hated that. He told Lena, I did what any decent person should do. But the internet did not care about modesty. The internet cared about a moment that felt like justice. One night, Lena and Caleb invited me over for dinner at their new apartment. It was simple, warm, safe, no performance. Lena served pasta and laughed when it spilled a little. Caleb played music low. No one criticized anyone's face. After dinner, Caleb raised a glass of sparkling water and said, I want to make a toast. I rolled my eyes jokingly. Please do not, I said. Lena laughed. Caleb smiled. I will keep it short, he said. He looked at me. Ethan, you do not have to earn your place. You have it. Lena added, You always had it. I forgot. I will not forget again. My eyes burned. I nodded. That was all. Later, when I drove back to my place, I sat in my car for a minute and stared at the steering wheel. I thought about that night at the venue, standing outside under a dim light, hearing the music through the wall like I did not belong. I thought about how quickly shame tries to convince you that being excluded means you deserve it. Then I thought about Caleb walking outside, calm and steady, choosing truth over comfort, choosing people over image. That is why it went viral. Not because it was perfect, because it was rare. A person with power using it to protect someone with less power in public. without rage, without insults, without violence. Just boundaries, just clarity, just a line drawn where it should have been drawn years ago. If you are listening to this and you have ever been treated like you are too quiet, too awkward, too much, or not enough, I want you to remember this. The people who try to shrink you are not measuring your worth. They are protecting their control. And the moment someone finally says no to them, it feels like the whole world shifts. For me, it did. And it started at my sister's wedding, the moment my brother tried to throw me out, and the groom decided to throw out the lie instead. If this story hit you, comment where you are watching from and tell me one word: seen. I read the comments. I will see you in the next one.